action performed without thinking about the result is yoga, is a spiritual practice. It's the very same action. If you walk to go somewhere, all the time thinking about where you're going, that is just walking. But if you're walking to walk, to enjoy the walk, to be with the walk, that is meditation. That is yoga. It's a small shift. But you have to make a conscious choice to make that shift. You have to choose every moment to be. And when you are unable to be, when you are drifting, when you remember that you need to come back, just come back to the present moment. Don't fight with your mind. Don't sit and argue with your mind. Don't criticize yourself, condemn yourself. Because what is the use? If there is any use in fighting with your mind for not keeping you in the present moment, do it. There is no use. In fact, that moment that could have been used to be in the present moment is being wasted on thinking about those moments you could not be in the present. So you are unable to be in those moments. Once it is clear that getting to your true self is not a matter of choice, it is not a matter of convenience, it is not a matter of someone else telling you to get there or your desire. The moment you understand that that is it, that is the purpose of your life, this life or next life, you have to get there. You cannot live in this constantly drifting, changing, tormenting world of dreams. Eventually, you have to get back to that stable ground. As of now, you are in the middle of the ocean. You're clinging to whatever that's floating there. How long can you be like that? You will get exhausted. You will get tired. You have to swim towards the shore. And swimming towards the shore is not a choice. It's not convenience. It is your ultimate destination. Once it is clear that moving towards your higher self is your absolute destination, then the way to deal with your mind is to make it useful for your practice. It is only when you think there is another alternative other than getting to your true self. If you think there is another path, there is something else more important that you can do other than meditation, that is when you keep fighting with the mind. But once you absolutely sink this into your being, there is nothing, absolutely nothing more important than being in the present moment. There is nothing, absolutely nothing more important than meditating and going deeper, connecting with your higher self. Then all those moments when you are unable to do this, you will simply forget them as a dream. You don't fight with your dream. When you remember to be in reality, you just be. You don't wake up in the morning and you go and dissect your dreams. How stupid of me to not be aware and awake while dreaming. Why did I fall into that dream? There's no necessity. Now that you're awake, now that you have a recognition of your body, now that you are aware that you have a body, become aware of it deeper. Watch it more deeply. Just watch your breath. Every time you think about meditation, you talk about mindfulness, you reflect on the teachings, feeling that you are unable to do what you're supposed to do, just bring yourself back to the breath. Just bring yourself back to the body. Because now you know that mind is the wrong center. There is no use in arguing with the mind, fighting with the mind, convincing the mind. Nothing is necessary. you have to do something somewhere else. That doing something somewhere else is to come back to the body. And the easiest way to do that is to practice separating between the truth and lies, and to drop thinking about the consequences, the fruits, and the results of your action. Action itself should become your meditation. What you're doing should be more important than what you're going to get out of that doing. Mumukshutva, or yearning for freedom, is the desire to free oneself by realizing one's true nature from all bondages, from that of egoism to that of the body, bondages superimposed by ignorance. Even though torpid or mediocre, this yearning for freedom, through the grace of the Guru, may bear fruit, being developed by means of vairagya or renunciation, sama or calmness. Where, however, this renunciation and yearning for freedom are torpid, there calmness and the other practices are as mere appearances, like water in a desert. Among things conducive to liberation, devotion alone holds the supreme place. The seeking after one's real nature is devotion. Others maintain that the inquiry into the truth of one's own self is devotion. The inquirer about the truth of the Atman, who is possessed of the above-mentioned means of attainment, should approach a wise teacher who confers emancipation from bondage, who is versed in the Vedas, sinless, unsmitten by desire, and a knower of Brahman par excellence, who has withdrawn himself into Brahman, calm, like fire that has consumed its fuel, who is a boundless reservoir of wisdom and mercy that knows no reason, and a friend of all good people who prostrate themselves before him. Well, he's using a language that is very familiar to the people he's addressing. Accepting a teacher, trusting the words of the teacher, and finding the right kind of teacher, the one who is deeply immersed in the truth, the one who has become the truth. All of this can be understood in your own personal, individualistic way. This does not mean surrendering your intelligence to someone else. People don't like the word surrender. It almost seems like they're going into prison. Surrender yourself. In spirituality, surrender is a very beautiful word. It's a positive word. You're not surrendering to someone or something. You are surrendering to your own being, your own understanding of what you are surrendering to. It is an internal surrender. There is your mind constantly agitating you, disturbing you, keeping you on the surface. When you recognize that there is someone who knows something more about the nature of reality, who can guide you, when you decide to surrender to their teachings, you're not surrendering to them, but your own inner self. You are sinking a little deeper from your mind. You are surrendering your fighting. You are surrendering your arguments. You are surrendering this constant desire to involve the mind in everything. You are surrendering yourself to your higher faculties, to your higher intelligence. That is why surrender is a beautiful word on the spiritual path. But you got to be careful with this word. People have used this word and turned it into their business. To make you surrender has become someone else's business. So all the time, they are trying to push you into submitting to their will, their words. But that is not spirituality. Many a times that is religion. Submit to something more powerful. Become humble. Stop thinking, stop asking questions. Just accept these words. There is a big difference when a spiritual teacher uses these words and a religious preacher uses these words. Two completely different things. One leads to liberation, other leads to bondage. What you're looking for is liberation, not bondage. There is only one person that is worthy of surrender. That is you. You cannot surrender to someone else, no matter who that person is. Even if Buddha himself were to come, if Jesus himself were to come, if he says, leave everything, surrender yourself to me, you say, no, I have my own mind. Tell me what is it that I need to do. Give me the method, give me the path. I will decide whether I want to surrender or not. Spirituality is not about throwing away your intelligence and individuality. It is to use it in the right way, to not block the teachings. At the same time, to not blindly accept everything. It is to be in that state of viveka, your ability to separate between the truth and lies. There's a passage in Jonathan Livingston Seagull. The only learning that's mattered is what I got on my own, doing what I want to do. There isn't, but if there were a soul on earth who could teach me more of what I want to know than my airplane can and the sky, I'd be off right now to find him or her. That is the perfect attitude to have. My airplane, my sky has taught me everything I need to know. If I can find something, someone who can teach me anything more about what I want to know, about getting to my freedom, about getting to my joy. I don't want to know how to go to heaven or hell. I want to know how to be free. If someone can teach me, I would be off right now wanting to learn. Here is a perfect blend of individuality, intelligence, at the same time, willingness to learn. A perfect student is not a dead student who allows anything and everything to be dumped on them. A perfect student is one who's so aware, so alert, that he's open enough to first accept the teachings and see if it resonates. If it does, do something with it, reflect on it, practice it. If it doesn't resonate, reject the teacher, reject the teaching, go somewhere else. Because life is your journey. No one individual outside of you can keep you in bondage, no matter who they are. The longing in your heart to connect to yourself has to be the foundation. Then your ability to separate between truth and lies. Then withdrawal from thinking about the fruits of action. Just doing what you're doing fully. Just moving away from the mind center towards those other centers that are all available to you in the present moment. Keep doing this. Keep coming back to this. Slowly, things will begin to happen. You will begin to trust yourself more. You will begin to trust the teachings more. Everything will fall into place like a jigsaw puzzle. Initially, it's all a jumbled mess. And it is hard to make sense of all these things. Initially, when you are introduced to spiritual teachings, it will seem like this person wants me to die. I'm not able to make sense of how to approach this. In those moments, know that you are using your mind. You have to bring your heart, you have to bring your other faculties, and just feel the teachings. Experience something intuitively in the moment. Now, that moment will tell you if you are in the company of a right teacher or someone who's just fooling you.